before OU can even think about the Miami Hurricanes on October 3rd, OU must first focus on the Tulsa Golden Hurricane, which will be this Saturday afternoon, 2:30, from Norman. That game will be televised on Fox Sports Southwest. OU will enter this matchup as a 15.5-point favorite to defeat Tulsa. 15.5. If you would have told me that 2 weeks ago, I would have called you crazy. I would have thought the spread would have been much wider than that. But considering tight end Jermaine Gresham's out for the year, considering quarterback Sam Bradford again will not play this week, it'll be Landry Jones getting the start, and considering that OU lost that opener to BYU, it's no wonder that the spread is just barely over 2 touchdowns. And remember, Tulsa fields a pretty fair football team. They did last year, and so far this year, they're proven to be a formidable opponent for Oklahoma with road wins over both Tulane and New Mexico. And Tulsa will enter this game with confidence on Saturday. Trust me on that. Now, what to look for as far as Tulsa's offense. Their quarterback, G.J. Kinney, multi-dimensional quarterback. He actually wasn't even a member of the Tulsa football team 2 years ago. He was actually a member of the University of Texas football team of all places, but knew that he wasn't going to get playing time because of Colt McCoy. So decided to transfer. Had to sit out last year because of the transfer rule, but this past spring in the spring game, Kinney shined and basically won the starting position. Kinney is not only a throwing threat, but also he is Tulsa's leading rusher, which we'll talk about in just a second. As far as other things to look for on Tulsa's offense, Demarius Johnson. Johnson, a speedy wide receiver, but also a special teams nightmare. In fact, he returned a punt 64 yards for a TD in the fourth quarter 2 weeks ago, which broke open a pretty competitive game for a while against Tulane. So OU really has to contain Johnson, both receiving and on special teams. He's a key for Tulsa. And on defense, the Golden Hurricane run a 3-3-5 defense. You don't see that defense run too often. That's 3 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers, 5 defensive backs. I think Oklahoma should have a lot of success running the ball in this game, so expect DeMarco Murray and Chris Brown to get some solid yardage in this matchup. Throwing the football, we'll have to wait and see. Landry Jones is going to be seeing quite a few Golden Hurricane jerseys in this ball game as far as throwing, so it's going to be now more important than ever for Jones to have pinpoint accurate passing and to make solid decisions. So watch for that in this ball game as well, because of the 5 DBs that Jones should be seeing in this matchup. And again, I think a pretty good running attack for Oklahoma might be able to alleviate that a little bit for Oklahoma's offense. Now, talking about the 4 keys in this game. Key number 1, don't let GJ ruin the day. Meaning, don't let G.J. Kinney run all over Oklahoma. Kinney, again, a solid arm, but he can really hurt you, in my opinion, by getting out of the pocket and making things happen with his legs. He won't hesitate to run, believe me. He's Tulsa's leading rusher with over 120 yards rushing so far this season, so you really have to account for him where he's at all times. And if he can do that, I think the Oklahoma defense with their speedy front 7 should be just fine, but it will be a test for him. Number 2, second choice. We talked a little bit about this during the Idaho State postgame. Second choice. Landry Jones will have to find somebody to assist Ryan Broyles in the receiving department. Another receiver, perhaps the tight end. It can't just be running backs, because I promise you, I don't know in this game if you can get away with it. And against Miami, I really don't think you're going to get away with it if you just keep going to one guy. That's Ryan Broyles. Another receiver is going to have to help out for Oklahoma. I think this game could be the first step toward finding that second guy. Now, number 3 key to this game for Oklahoma, that is 3 the hard way. Third down conversions, a statistic that doesn't get talked about enough. And I think a big reason why OU lost to BYU was because they were pathetic on third down conversions. Have to really improve in this area. That's the area we're really going to be keeping a key on in this game, not only for OU, but for Tulsa. Remember, the Golden Hurricane, they are a team that doesn't really throw the ball down the field a whole lot. They try to get their yardage in small chunks. They rely on their speed to get the ball to the receivers and then seeing what the receivers can do after the catch. So they give themselves third and short quite a bit. That's why Tulsa converts traditionally, they did last year and so far this year, about 50% of their third down tries. Big statistic, because it's the difference between keeping a drive going or be facing a 4th down, contemplating going for it, punting, or a field goal. A drive stopper, it is usually if you're not good on third down. So we'll monitor that department as well. And number 4, a big key in this game, if you're Oklahoma, focus on the hurricane without focusing on the Hurricanes. Quite simple. Remember who you're playing. You're playing Tulsa this week. You're not playing Miami. A lot of people talking about the Miami game because they think that could be the make or break game. But if you don't take care of business against Tulsa, then Miami's not going to matter because you're going to be at 1-2 and facing a very long season. You take care of Tulsa, then you got 2 weeks to get ready for Miami. Remember, OU does not play next week, so you have a lot of preparation time for Miami. Don't overlook the Golden Hurricane, because if you play like junk, and if Tulsa is playing their game, it's going to be a game come the 4th quarter. So don't put yourself in that upset bid mode. And then, let's go ahead and overview this game. Look, Tulsa, let me put it this way. If Oklahoma State is the stepchild of Oklahoma football compared to OU, then Tulsa must be the forgotten relative, the relative that nobody knows about. Because Tulsa, let's face it, they don't get a lot of publicity. They're a non-BCS school. Most of the fan base in this state, in fact, I would say over 96% of it, roots for OU or OSU. Tulsa, most of their fan base is in the Tulsa area, and it's not a wide fan base in that regard. But despite that, Tulsa does win, and they won 11 games a year ago. This year, they'll probably win 8 or 9 games, and they're going to give Boise State all they want when the Broncos visit Tulsa in mid-October. Again, Tulsa is a good team, but in this matchup, you have to go with OU's speed, and you also have to go with the fact that the game's in Norman, a place where the Sooners are virtually invincible. So I will take Oklahoma to win 38-24. I think Tulsa will probably get some trash points in the end to make the final score look respectable. But again, OU should win this game, and they should win it by at least 2 touchdowns. I think the point spread is pretty consistent in this regard. And then you can think about Miami. That's the phone, so I gotta go. Bye, everybody.